Hey everyone, I got a new video for you. I'm just giving you an update in the plant room. Theo got a haircut, so as you can see, he's looking a little bit fuzzier than ever. I tried to shave him a bit like a lion. He's a little shorter there and scruffy up there. I still got a little bit to do, but he should be good. He just wants to hang out with me while I talk about my plant video, and I think he just likes the sound of my voice. So yeah, without further ado, let's get at it. So let's just get right into it. Clip once around. Mind my squeaky floor. So right over here we've got a couple kinds of jungle cactus. These ones are called, this one's called the Thanksgiving cactus is the common name. This one's called the Christmas cactus is the common name. People often say that they don't have spines, and that's true, but they have these things called glaucides. If I'm not mistaken, they break off and go right into your skin, or they might be spines that are just brittle. But in any case, they don't necessarily get you real good, but they will get into your skin and cause some irritation, and even this one does. There might be a variety, like the one that I don't have is called the Thanksgiving cactus, and it's a little more round. And that one might not have these little spikes like that or hair-like structures, but I can assure you, if you rub your arm, like your forearm, into that, it may not be very pleasant for you. Right here, we've got this is a propeller plant. I repotted it. You can tell by the different color of the media. It's more porosity because it's used to, it comes from Africa. It's also called crassula, I think, and that's the species name, and the variety I don't remember. Just this is also a crassula, but it's a different variety. So basically these two plants are related, but clearly they have quite different morphology. This one will keep growing up and up and up, and then it puts a bunch of offshoots at the base that are just like this, and then when it's large enough and it has enough energy, it'll put out a flower spike with red flowers. This is called an elephant bush. It's also edible, allegedly. I would maybe double check that, but what you can do is you pick the leaves and eat them, and apparently they're crunchy and sour. It's kind of interesting. You can see my Opuntia is pushing out a new pad. This one's called Jacob's Coat, and it's variegated. I believe there's a non-variegated form, but I could be mistaken, because I'm pretty sure this is the natural, one of the few cactus that are naturally variegated. And then this, you can see how these are more pointed, and then this one's kind of blunted. So these are still growing, and they have like a pink hue to them at the very tip. That's just a little bit hard to pick up on my camera. You might be able to see it a little bit there. So you can tell that they're still pushing out growth from there. And once they get like a top like that, I'm sure that they'll start to push out a new pad. But it looks like they're still trying to mature like this one is. Here's a guava. This is a pineapple guava. You can see where buds are starting on this branch. You come up, there's a bud here, a bud right here, and then this one's starting a new branch. I'm going to use a bonsai method and turn them so that it's not going straight up and they're going more side to side. Little training methods like this. I have a bamboo pole just to straighten it out, and what that's doing is it's helping it maintain that that straight trunk that I want, because I said that I wanted it to go from, it was more bushy. If you look at my previous videos, it had quite a bit of growth here. And then I've chopped this part off and I chopped this part off. And now it's pushing all the hormones from the bottom that we're feeding this area, because it still has the same amount of roots, and all those hormones are now going up here, and they're trying to force out at the all the tips, which is just great. Right here, this is the it's called an angel trumpet. Last time you seen it, it had a really bad spider mite infestation, and it actually dropped all of its leaves. You can kind of see where this was a new leaf coming out. It has a bit of damage there, but the rest of the leaves are pristine, other than the fact that I accidentally knocked this one over, and now that the stem is broke right there, it just kind of flops like a bunny ear. But could be worse. In my clumsiness, I just knocked off that bud, which it happens, guys. You'll do stuff like that all the time. You'll think, oh man, but it happens to the best of us. Just learn to be more careful. This is the Annona reticulata, also called red custard apple. It's got a really nice even form, a nice thick trunk. It's amazing. The ladybugs like to hang out on the underside of the leaves sometimes, probably because there might be some snacks there. This is one of the plants that's going to be given away. This is a Barbados cherry. You can see it's got all this nice new growth. And once this growth gets pushed out, all this old growth is going to harden off and look nice, deep and green like this. So it's just in that phase right now. I bring you over here, you can see in the back, it's got flower buds. So hopefully it holds on to its fruit. A couple leaves that are ready to go. But you always got to think, right? Like if your leaves are falling off, don't panic. As long as you have more leaves growing than what the leaves that you are losing, I mean, there's significant leaf drop. If you notice, like, all of a sudden, you know, you come in the next day and there's like 10 leaves missing, yeah, it might tell you that you have something like spider mites. But if you notice that, you know, there's a couple leaves here and there, that's nothing weird. So this is the lemon guava. It would be a strawberry guava if the fruit turned red, but it turns yellow. They're the same, I'm pretty sure they're the same, like, species and variety even, it's just different colors, which is kind of cool. I could be wrong, definitely could be wrong. Here's the pink princess philodendron pushing out a new leaf. Judging by the color, there's going to be some variegation on there. It looks like it's slowly pushing out more variegation because it stopped at one point where the leaves are almost non-variegated, and that's when I bought it, so I was kind of sad, but I had it in a poor spot, and now that it's getting more light, the variegation's starting to come out. I can already see, look at, there's a little speck there, a little speck there. That's on the back side of the leaf, so I'll wait for that to unfurl. And this one's just doing its thing. You can see the damage from when I had some thrips and spider mites in here, but I sprayed with horticultural oil to take care of that. And it's like a preventative too, so when you spray it, it gives you a little bit of time where it should prevent the things like scale, thrips, spider mites from wanting to come back, because if I'm not mistaken, it creates like a toxic environment for them. This is a sugarloaf pineapple. For some reason, all of this damage is from my cats. They just come over and they keep gnawing it and gnawing it. And I don't know why they're so attracted to this plant out of all the plants that I have, but they certainly are. I've decided to give this away with the pink princess, and that's at 100 subscribers. I'm almost at 65. This is the ZZ plant. You can literally take a leaf and just stick it in the soil and it'll make its own plant, which is really, really cool. They've got a couple different varieties, but you know, it's hard to find one this big. You probably pay like, you're gonna pay like at least 20 bucks for that, you know, minimum. And then it's really nice too because this plant doesn't require very much watering. In fact, if you overwater it, you definitely will drown it. So what you got to do is you wait till it's bone dry, and then you can even give it a week or two after that, and then you water it, and it'll do fine. This thing gets barely any water, and you can see it's pushing out 1, 2, 3, 4 new leaves or stems. Not sure if they're compound leaves. I think these are each individual leaves, and then that's just a stem. But if somebody knows, correct me. And yeah, I stripped all the fruit off of my my guava and just left one so you guys can see how it matures. You see the whole process from fruit to flower. Maybe I might edit a video to just, you know, have it in one consecutive video where it shows the process of the guava. That's really nice because these ones, they're not overly sweet, and apparently guava is one fruit with the most amount of protein, allegedly. So interesting. Over here, this is my Thai constellation Monstera deliciosa. That's pushing out a new leaf, so I'm super happy about that. And that's just probably going to come out and settle over right here, filling out my plant a little more and making it look, you know, nicer. Something I'm really excited about. This is Perpetual pesto. It's a type of basil. It smells and tastes just like regular basil. Does grow a little bit slightly slower, a little more compact. It grows like a little, literally like a little tree if you just let it go from this. And the neat thing about it is it never flowers. So because it never flowers, you can just, you know, maybe every 6 months you cut off a little piece and just, you know, root it in some water, and you're good to go. And you're constantly, you know, rejuvenating the plant by cloning it that way. And because it never goes to seed, it's not like it's ever gonna affect the genetics if you do that. Whereas like if you're cutting a clone off of something that's going to seed, it's gonna be slightly less effective. Hormones of the plant are going to the production of seed as opposed to root production. These are old man cactus. And then I got a little old man right there. That's the agave cactus. I love the like Wookiee fur that it has. And then it's furry on the tips. And these spines are actually papery. They're not hard at all. The color's blue. Like, it checks all the lists. You know, the fuzzy cactus list, the blue cactus list, and it not being like sharp. I really think it's a pretty neat cactus. Also, it's endangered from poaching. A couple of the cactus that I own are people in the wild. People harvest them because either they're a popular cactus for like the trade. This one is from seed, and it's not from the wild, so you don't have to worry about that. It's actually from a local nursery up in Kitchener, so I can assure you that, you know, no plants were taken from wild populations. I'm a little far from any of the wild populations. This is native to I think it's North Mexico, around like Texas area. There's my Hindu rope hoya with some really nice albino shoots coming off. You can see right here and right here. So nice. Got a little bit of dill weed, because you can't have dill pickles without dill weed. I've never grown dill weed before, so you know, this is probably pretty overseeded, but when I get a chance and they're a little bit bigger, I'm gonna take this whole block of soil out and then just rinse it down with a garden hose and tease them all apart, and then I'm gonna plant some dill that way. This is a canna lily, needs some water. These are jujubes. They're also called Chinese red dates. They're a little bit challenging to grow. You have to like put them in the fridge for like a month in moist soil without letting it rot. So you got to make sure that there's just like a little bit of airflow. So I had like a bag on top of these where the side was cracked. It worked pretty good. And then you come over here. You can see where I sprayed. So I was like, yeah, I'll let it go. These spider mites are nothing. And then, you know, I should bite my tongue because they ended up, the spider mites and thrips, they did do some damage. It looks like some dead bodies on the bottom. But yeah, kind of a bummer. It is what it is. You know, I'm experienced enough to know better, and you know, stubborn enough to not do something about it. So that was my own doing. If you see a leaf that's kind of yellow, you can give it a little tug, and if it comes off on its own, that's nice and fine. Something that's interesting is the ahi charapitas are absolutely flawless. They didn't have any damage on them. But they're like one of the hardest to germinate, and they're also wild, so that might be why. But yeah, let's go over this. These are peach sugar rush peppers. So they're already going to flower, every single one of them. I don't know why. I think maybe due to the size, maybe they're super prolific. In any case, I can't just keep pinching all these flower buds, so I'm just gonna let them do their thing. And then yeah, so right here, this is Ontario Smooth Tobacco. Oh my god, there's a thrip. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to come through and do another spray because I seen a thrip flying. I don't want to have to deal with them anymore. So when you have some kind of pest infestation, it's not a bad idea to go through and spray multiple times just to make sure that you get the problem nipped in the bud. So this is tobacco. You grow it like this and then you prick it out when it's a little bit bigger. So basically, because the seeds are so small, you have to you basically overseed an area, and then you do the same thing that you do with the dill weed. I basically take the whole block of soil out when there's a little more roots in there, and then tease them all apart very carefully. But this soil has the Caucasian caper in it, and I just planted the seed into it because I'm like, what the heck, you know, the Caucasian caper might come up. And I was really not thinking it would, and it did. But this is an endangered species of caper. I thought that the seeds weren't viable, but one of the 5 seeds that I got are, and that's from Richter's Herbs in Ontario. So if I can continue to grow this with any level of success, then I'll have an endangered species of caper that might be a viable crop up in Zone 6 Canada, which capers, if I'm not mistaken, they're hardy to Zone 8, which is 2 zones away from us. But this is native to a mountain area, so there's potential. And this is a woolly torch. This is they're peyote or Lophophora williamsii. So I love them because they have those little white patches of fur, and they're the bluish hue. They're really nice to grow, super easy. Once you kind of understand what you got to do, it's not challenging at all. And then this one looks funny because it's variegated, which is really cool. It's got the tufts of hair, super slow growing. These are different alliums, getting bigger finally. You can start to see the phenotype of each one, like the genetic expression. These are Welsh onions. These are blue Soleil's leeks. You can even see the blue hue on them. Here are these are red. Yeah, you can even see the red hue starting on the stem. These are red Welsh bunching onions, and then these are all shallots. So same thing. When these are large enough, what you do is you take the whole brick of soil out, wash it down with water, break it apart very, very carefully, and tease it. You don't break it apart, sorry. You tease it apart. You do not want to literally like rip them apart. You want to try and keep as much of that root intact as you can, because then it gives you the best possibility of that plant success. More roots, more shoots. And then this is Tulsi Holy Basil. Got one growing bigger than the rest. I'm really happy with that. There's a little bit of moss in there. Not sure why, but definitely cool. I think some of the soil I did repurpose, so that's probably part of the reason. And then this is, these are all Courbaki peppers. And they're apparently also an endangered species. They're endangered for the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, they're just not being grown anymore. In certain heirlooms, they fall out of favor and they get lost to time. So it's apparently one of the best cayenne-like peppers, but it's a sweet pepper too. So super pumped about that. And these are variegated tomatoes. You can see the variegation coming out on this leaf. This one's Maria's Praise, or I keep getting the names mixed up. I'm gonna have to pull them out and label it. And this one's Bling's Blue. You can also see a bit of variegation on it. Right there on the middle. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this one's a potato leaf, and then this one's like a regular. And that's just the habit of how the leaf is shaped. These are Ahi Charapitas. I'm gonna have to tease them apart soon, being very careful not to disturb the root system of this one, because it's doing absolutely amazing. And that's allegedly the world's most expensive spice. It's in debate for a few reasons, but I personally would like to go with the fact that it's the world's most expensive spice next to saffron, and I'm okay with that. These are Aunt Molly's ground cherries, and they're also starting to go to flower, which isn't an issue because it's getting really close to the time to bring things outside. So by the time I have all this stuff out, these also, you can tell they're sad, they're droopy, they need some water. So when everything's ready to go outside, you know, I'm already gonna have my peppers flowering. I'm already gonna have my, you know, ground cherries going. I'm already gonna have my tomatoes going. So that's kind of the plan. I started these in February, and I started these in March. Same with the tomatoes. And then these were started in April because I decided, why not? You know, I want to throw in something a little fun. Something I've never tried before. Then this is, they're called rose root, and it's an adaptogen. Let's see if I can get it good. They're pretty neat. They're a succulent plant. So these are the baby leaves, right? And now they're starting to put out the actual mature leaves. And once they get a little bit bigger, I'll be able to transfer them outside because they're... So I'm not sure where I left off. My iPhone ended up dying. This is a couple days later. I remembered that I filmed the video. I started this is late at night, mind you guys. But recently I started a gardening company. I posted a couple ads on Facebook, and the response has been quite overwhelming, to say the least. I'm very pleased, mind you. But yeah, my time is gonna be quite consumed by that. I'm still gonna be able to manage to make videos, and I'm gonna be happy to make these videos for you guys. I think that It's just gonna be a little bit of a learning process to get everything cohesive, so I can get a schedule worked out between keeping the clients happy, making YouTube videos, and posting on my page, Rare and Endangered Plants, on Facebook. If you guys are interested, I really highly suggest checking out that page. I put a lot of really cool stuff in there, including rare heirlooms that are not necessarily known. So you will likely find a lot of good information on there. You'll definitely learn a thing or two, and yeah, I think this is a good way to conclude the video. These variegated tomatoes are absolutely awesome. I can't wait for them to grow bigger. And yeah, the horticultural oil, it's really helped with the bugs. You can see it's starting to let up. You know, they're not getting back into the plant. It's alleviating. See the new growth. There's the 0 bite marks. So, good stuff. And I just wish you all the best. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching my video. And, well, take care. Gary the Snail says he loves you guys. Peace.